Hello and welcome to the Flashes of Dynamic Youth Thoughts from the Stable Observation Dynamic Youth Global or Salvation International Prayer Christian Church Global. And I'm your host for today. My name is Vicjames. I'm delighted to have you with me on this journey today. On today's episode, we'll be talking about the topic titled Wired for Purpose. But for a moment, let's pause and let's channel our discussion on the word wired. Now, when you hear the word wired, what comes to your mind? I mean, can you think of a motherboard or a circuit or anything? I mean, it's a very simple word. How something is being programmed to function. That is what wired means. Talking about wired for a purpose, I mean, think of anything at all. The device you're using to view me from right now, it's wired for a particular purpose. I mean, for a variety of purposes, like watching of movies, playing of audio, music, and many more things. That is what it's being wired for. Similarly, think of a fish being wired for swimming, not just wired for climbing a tree. I mean, if it's being wired for swimming and it finds itself climbing the tree, it would definitely be a complete failure. Think of yourself like that. You are also wired for a specific thing. Now, if you are wired for a specific thing, then why will you find yourself chasing someone else's dream? I mean, trying to live someone else's life. Definitely you're going to fail, and that you're not going to find any fulfillment in that. Now, diving deep into the discussion of today, let's define the word purpose and then let's break it down. Wired for purpose. Purpose is actually the original intent of the creation of a thing in the mind of the creator. I mean, this definition of purpose is being defined by someone who is known as authority on the subject of purpose, known as Dr. Miles Monroe Global. So now, being wired for a purpose is you being wired to do a specific thing in your lifetime. You are not made by accidents. You don't exist by accident. You exist for a particular purpose. Your passion, your talent, your gifts, all are clues to lead you to your purpose based on your wiring, right? So ask yourself a few questions. What are your passions? I mean, you can't just think of yourself. Ask yourself, why are you drawn to a particular interest apart from that which others are going for? Why are you good in certain things? That is your passion and your wiring in action. So it's easier for you to function in a particular way that you are being wired for. Now, let's take some global personalities, for example, the likes of Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates. I mean, you know these people I'm mentioning, right? So these people are actually wired to be tech giants, to be tech people. When Elon Musk was growing up, he left his passion for tech and programming and all this stuff like that and went into fishing. Today, we're not going to know Elon Musk. Elon Musk is Elon Musk today because he actually aligned his passion to his wiring, to his kind of wiring. He functioned based on his wiring, and that's why today his name is global. Same thing applies to you. Your success or your failure is going to be defined by how you align your passion to your wiring. Because definitely, if you don't function based on your wiring, you're going to fail woefully. I'm sorry to say that. You're going to fail woefully. So the key here is you discovering how you are wired, and then you function in alignment to that manner. Now, the big question is, how do I know what I'm wired for? Well, it's quite simple. I'm going to enlist 3 key points for you right now. The first is look within. Like, look around you. What do you have passion for? What do you have this natural sense of solving? Now, let me set an example for you. There are some people who, by nature, they like solving problems, regardless what kind of problem it is. Whenever a problem arises, they tend to be drawn towards solving that problem. That is the way they have been wired. That is their wiring, and that's the way they function as humans. So you look within. What are your passions? What are the things that comes to you naturally? What are the things you do effortlessly without being pushed to? The things you are being drawn to do. What are those things? So when you look within, you're going to know how you've been wired. The second point is you need to pay attention to the things that light you up. What do I mean by lighting you up? The things that excite you. What gives you joy? Now, there are certain people, when they do something they know how to do, they don't do it with joy. They do it with such mourning, frowning. They box their mouth to this side and just do it for doing sake. I'm very sure they are not so much wired for it, even though they know how to do it. But you pay attention to what you are being wired for, and that you do. When you engage that thing you're wired for, you experience this this sense of excitement, joy. You do it with enthusiasm. That's a clue to what you have been wired for. And I advise you to function that way. That's where your success lies. And then the third point I'm going to mention for you now is what you've been through. Now, our experiences, our struggles are clues to what we are preparing or we are being made for. For instance, we all know the rise of AI, right? So now the concept behind AI and those things that function, like for instance, let me use ChatGPT. The reason why you ask ChatGPT a question and then ChatGPT gives you an accurate answer or close to an accurate answer is because ChatGPT was trained with particular data that are related to the questions you ask it. Similarly to you, what you do not have, you cannot give. What you are not built for, you cannot deliver tomorrow. So examine your struggles, examine your challenges, your experiences. Definitely they are clues, and then they are like signage that are leading you to a certain future. Before you become a doctor, you need to go through the official means of being a doctor. Maybe going to school, taking courses, and engaging in different kind of practicals before you become a doctor. You don't become a doctor overnight. So for you to know the wiring for your purpose, you need to also learn to look into your experiences and your struggles of the past. They are clues to who you are and who you are made to be. Now, I have a tip for you. If you find it very difficult to examine yourself, maybe taking a self-reflection moments to examine yourself, you can walk up to your close friends and ask them like casual questions. You'll be like, what am I really good at? I mean, just look at me. You know me for a very long time, or you know me very well. What do you think I'm really good at? With that question, I mean, if your friends are honest with you, they can really tell you what you're good at, and then you can channel your energy towards building that wiring of yours to function in that particular manner to ensure for your success. Here's something real. To be honest, knowing your wiring is just one thing, and then living out your wiring is another thing, and which is one of the most difficult things to do in this process. Knowing your wiring is you just calling yourself to the attention of knowing what you are wired for and how you are being wired to function in a particular way. But then living what you are being wired for is very, very difficult. There are certain things that are going to try to hinder you from living out what you are wired for. Number one, fear. What does fear do to you? Now, the fear for failing is a tool that can stop you from living out what you are wired for. Now, for example, Thomas Edison, the famous and popular inventor of the electric bulbs we use today, according to history and according to records, he failed many times, and then eventually the last one he tried, he succeeded. Now, imagine Thomas Edison feared failing after some couple of failures and then stopped working it. Are we going to enjoy life today? Probably. We might not. So, same applies to you. Failing is not the end of it, but the fear of failing is the end of it. Stop getting scared to fail. Anytime you fail, get up, dust yourself, and try again. It's opportunity for you to succeed. The second thing that stops you from living out what you're wired for is distraction. To be honest, this point is very, very, very crucial. Distraction is like a tool that is used to really stop bitter and keep you stagnant. Imagine with me, you want to go to a certain place, maybe let's say to the market to get something, and then you are being distracted from moving out from your house to the market. You are being distracted. That is the assignment of distraction. Don't get distracted, be it by social media, be it by friends that don't fit into your values or belief system. Those are distractions. Anything that you're putting your hands into that does not align to your goals and your aspirations are distractions. They will distract you and hinder you from living out what you're being wired for. Now, it is important for you to stay true to your wiring, learning how to say no to things that do not align to your wiring. In conclusion, here is the takeaway. You are actually intentionally wired for specific things for your generation. Your talents, your gifts, your passions, your struggles, your experiences are all parts of your design. Do not ignore them. They are all clues pointing you to who you are meant to be, what you are meant to do, and ultimately to what you are meant to deliver to your generation. Now, here's the challenge. I urge you to spend some time this week, study your passions, study your interests, study the things you love doing, put them down, because those are the things that are needed for you. When you piece them together, you're going to know what you're wired for and then how you are being wired. Remember, you are not here by accident. You are intentionally created for a purpose, wired to function in a particular manner. Thank you for joining us on today's episode on Flashes of Dynamic Youth Thoughts on View Radio from the Stable of Salvation Dynamic Youth Global of Salvation International Prayer Christian Church. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to share with your friends and your loved ones. And we will urge you to please follow us on all our social media platforms at SIPCC Global on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube. And also please follow View Radio on their own social media platform as well. And we also want to appreciate View Radio for partnering with us on this. See you next week. Stay blessed.